Hey, what's up? My name is Alex, and welcome to English Rewind. And this is another episode of listening and reading comprehension. I'm on my newsletter, and we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste your time with stupid things. We are going to read from English Rewind newsletter number 1 first. This one was the first one I wrote, so it's very easy. It's very short. But let's start with it. English Rewind number 1. Go by the riverbank. Beginner or basic English. Gracie stood by the river. She looked at herself in the water. She was sad and angry because someone she loved had died. She didn't understand why he had to die. She didn't know how to feel about it. All she could do was pick up a rock and throw it in the river. Yes, very basic. Let's move to the advanced version. While I'm reading this, I'll just explain as well if there's anything that I feel I need to explain. Gracie stood by the riverbank, looking at her reflection in the water. All she wanted to do was cry. With everything in her, she wanted to scream. The man she loved had just died. And for what? How was she supposed to feel? Picking up a rock, she threw it at her reflection in the water. There was a big splash. She just stood there staring at the ripples. Okay, so a few words. A few keywords here. Riverbank. Riverbank is just when you're next to a river and the piece of land that the river touches. That's the riverbank. So everything around the river, all the land around the river, that's the riverbank. Reflection. Well, your reflection is when you look in the mirror, what you see is your reflection. So you look at yourself in the mirror, then you see your reflection. She was looking at her reflection in the water in this piece I wrote. There was a big splash. A splash is when you throw a rock in the water and it poof and does that. I don't think that's how it makes. And the water just flies everywhere. That's a splash. So when water just flies everywhere after you throw the rock in the water, that's splash. So there was a big splash. A lot of water just flew everywhere after she threw the big rock in the water. She just stood there staring at the ripples. Ripples, you know, when you throw something in the water and you get those circles, that it makes those circles that start out small and then they get bigger and bigger. Those are ripples. Let's look at the example sentences for the keywords. Riverbank. It's dangerous to let your child walk next to the riverbank. Reflection. The girl loves looking at her reflection in the mirror. So she loves looking at herself in the mirror and then seeing her own reflection. Ripples. The ripples were like circles growing bigger. So that's how I explained the ripples, those small circles that grow bigger and bigger and bigger when you throw something in water. Those are ripples. Splash. I made a big splash jumping in the pool. Jumping in the pool, jumping into the pool. This can also be into and not in the pool, jumping into the pool. I made a big splash. Stare. Stare, when you stare at someone, it's like when you look at them like this. You just look at them like this. You just look at them the whole time. Stare, stare. The monster's big eyes were staring at me. It was at this part. It says, she just stood there staring at the ripples. So she just looked at the ripples like this the whole time, staring at the ripples. Okay, that was newsletter number 1. Let's move on to newsletter number 2. Okay, so this is newsletter number 2. English Rewind newsletter number 2. Life on the farm. Beginner English. Let me just do this as well. There we go. That's even better. Me and my family live on a farm. The farm is far away from the big city. But we are not alone. There are many animals that stay here with us. Every morning, I wake up early to feed them and make sure they are healthy. They also feed us. The chickens give us eggs. We use the eggs for breakfast in the mornings. The cows give us milk. We drink the milk for lunch in the afternoons. The sheep give us meat. We eat the meat in the evenings for supper. Living on the farm can be difficult, but it's also fun. Okay, that was the basic English. Let's move to the more advanced English. I don't think the advanced English is... I can't remember. Let's see how difficult this one is. Me and my family, you'll see one of the big differences you'll get when we move from the basic English to the advanced English is that the sentences tend to get longer. So in the basic English, I try and use short sentences, whereas in the advanced English, I use longer, more complicated sentences, as well as different vocabulary. Me and my family live on a farm. The farm is far away from the big city, but we're not alone out here. There are many animals to keep us company. See, there's a big difference. I didn't use that in the basic English. There are many animals to keep us company. Every morning I wake up early to feed them and make sure they are in good condition. Even though we are the ones looking after the animals, they also provide for us. The chickens give us eggs that we use for breakfast in the mornings. The cows give us milk that we drink during lunch in the afternoons. The sheep give us delicious meat and we roast... The sheep give us delicious meat that we roast for supper in the evenings. So, even though living on the farm can be difficult, it has its own rewards. Okay, let's look at the keywords. Keep company, where I use it here. There are many animals to keep us company. Keep company means that they are with you. The example sentence I use is, I want you to keep me company. You need to be with me the whole time. So when you keep someone company, it means that you kind of stay with them. So let's say I wanted to go to the city to do some shopping, but I didn't want to be alone. Then I might ask my friend, hey, can you please keep me company while I go shopping? So that means I am asking them to stay with me while I do the shopping. They keep me company. I want you to keep me company. You need to be with me the whole time. Condition. I use it here with, every morning I wake up early to feed them and make sure they are in good condition. So condition refers to how are things going. An example with, if I ask you, how's your condition? Then I'm asking you, are you healthy? How are you doing? Are you well? Is everything okay? If I asked, what is the condition of the building? Then I'm asking, is the building new, old? Is the building broken? So condition, when you ask about the condition, you ask about that thing and how things are going with it. Yeah. So how are things going? Are you healthy? What's your condition like? Oh, my condition. I'm in good condition. I'm feeling healthy. Thank you. Provide. I used it here with, they also provide for us. Thank you. Even though we are the ones looking after the animals, they also provide for us. So that means we look after the animals, we care for the animals, but they also provide for us. So we're also getting something from them. We're also getting something in return, which in this example story was we get eggs, milk, and meat from the animals. So when you provide for someone, it means that you care for them. It means that you like, in the sentence here it says provide. I will provide money for you. That means I will give you money. I will make sure that you have money. If I say that I will provide for your health needs, then I'm saying I will make sure that you have medicine. So to provide means that you make sure that someone has something. You give those things to that person. That's provide. So, for example, a father provides for his family. That means he makes sure that they have food on the table, that the children have money to spend at school, the children have clothes. So he provides for them. Delicious. as used in the sentence, the sheep give us delicious meat that we roast for supper in the evenings. Delicious means, in this sentence, it means it tastes very nice. It tastes delicious. It's you enjoy eating it. It's like, I love the taste of this. It's delicious. This food smells delicious. So if something smells delicious, you're saying, I really want to eat it. I love the way it smells. I'm so hungry now. So delicious means it's pleasant. It means that it's enjoyable. Yeah, delicious meat, delicious food, food that you enjoy, food that's nice. It's delicious. Roast, that's just when you prepare the meat over fire. So if you prepare the meat over fire, then you roast it. You're done roasting the meat. Reward, which was used in the sentence, so even though living on the farm can be difficult, it has its own rewards. A reward is, it's something you get for doing something, or it's almost, how can I put it this way? The reward in this story I told, the reward for caring for the animals was getting the meat, the milk, and the eggs. So you have your hard work, you work hard, and then you have a reward, and that would be the things you get. So in this sentence, what's my reward for answering the question? Your reward for answering the question would be, let's say, a thumbs up. If you get, this is your reward. So a reward is something you get in return for doing something. So if in my previous video, the example was how the children got A's in school, they got A's in school on their report cards, and they were rewarded with an ice cream. So reward is just that gift or something you receive after doing something. Yes. So this story was about basically living on the farm has its own challenges. You look after the animals, but you also get something in return from the animals, and that would be the food. And that was what it was about. Yeah, I'm talking a lot. Sorry if I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. When you look at these videos and there's something you think that I can improve on, please let me know. I want to make these videos so that you enjoy them and that they are helpful and that they are easy to understand, but at the same time, you also learn something from them. Okay, newsletter number 3. I'm in the army now. Basic English version. This one is very short. I had to grow up. My mother wasn't going to care for me anymore. I was in the army now. I had to take care of myself. I had to protect my friends. We were going to war. We were going to fight the enemy. Some of us would not survive. Advanced English. It was time for me to grow up. I couldn't run home to my mother anymore. I was in the army now. It was my duty to not only look after myself, but also look after my fellow soldiers. I had to protect those around me. Soon we would be heading out to the countryside where the rebels were waiting for us. We were going to war. We didn't really know what to expect. All we knew was that some of us would not make it. Very serious, very serious. So what this is about is this boy, this man, his mother can no longer care for him. He is going to war and he will have responsibilities. He will have to look after his friends who are also soldiers, and things will be dangerous, and he knew that he might die. This is basically what it's about. But let's look at the key words. The first one is duty, which we saw here with, it was my duty to not only look after myself, but also after my fellow soldiers. Duty means something that's your job. You are responsible for it. It's your job. So it is the duty of a father to care for his wife and children. So It's a father's job. It's a father's work to care for his family. So duty is your job. You need to do that. It's your duty. Someone else isn't going to do it. You have to do it. That's duty. Look after. When you look after something, which we used here, it was my duty to not only look after myself, but also after my fellow soldiers. Look after means that you care for someone. So my wife wasn't at home, so I had to look after the baby. That means my wife wasn't at home, so I had to care for the baby. I had to look after the child. So look after is taking care of something or someone. So in this example, okay, I'll say that now. Hold on. The next word was fellow. It was my duty to not only look after myself, but also after my fellow soldiers. Fellow means people like you. So when it's used in this way, it refers to people like you. So if I say he was an American like me, he was my fellow countryman, then it's saying that fellow countryman means he's from the same country, he's a man from the same country like me. Fellow countryman, he was an American like me. So fellow here means someone like you. That's why he says, but also look after my fellow soldiers, which means, but also care for, look after these people who are also soldiers, like me, my fellow soldiers. So this whole sentence, it was my duty to not only look after myself, but also after my fellow soldiers, basically means he's saying, it's my job to care for my friends. It's my job to not only care for myself, but also care for and look out for them and make sure that they are safe and protected. Heading out. Heading out just means when you're going somewhere. So soon we would be heading out to the countryside. The countryside is, like away from the city. That's just away from the city in nature, away from all the cars and big buildings and all the technology. That's countryside. There are more farms and so on. So heading out means that soon we would be going to the countryside. In the example sentence here was, I didn't want them to see me cry, so I headed outside, which means I'm about to cry. I don't want them to see me cry, so I'm going outside. That's what it means. Rebels. A rebel is someone who's against something. In the example here, we said that soon we would be heading out to the countryside where the rebels were waiting for us. Now, the rebels here are people who are against the government, people who carry guns and don't like the way things are being done and they want change. So rebels are people that don't want to follow the rules. They want to do things their own way, and many times they are also aggressive, violent, or dangerous. In this example sentence, I said, those children are rebels. They never obey their parents. So if a child grows up and he turns 16 and he no longer wants to listen to his parents, he doesn't obey his parents, then he becomes rebellious. He is called a rebel. Made it, which was used as an example. All we knew was that some of us would not make it. That means that some of us might die. So make it means that we won't survive. We might die. My friend was in a car accident. He didn't make it. In other words, he died. So when someone says, no, he didn't make it, it might mean he died, depending on how you use it. But in this situation and in the previous example, and in this example, it means that the person died. That was it. I hope you learned something. I would like if you could subscribe to my newsletter as well, and please let me know if there are hold on, let me get my thoughts straight. Please let me know if I can add something, change something, if I'm talking too quickly, if I'm not talking fast enough, if it's too difficult, if it's too easy. Let me know if there's something specific you would like me to write about, and then I'll be sure to do that. But that's it for now, and until next time, cheers.